What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, given by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. That's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly in the past 3/4 months to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. Looking forward to hearing by the end of this year, we can say it's been 500,000. So as always, I like to say, you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles and a solution for someone's problem. And we're broadcasting live on Saturday, October 4th. Let me tell you, family, this is out of bounds weather today in Toronto. It is about 26 degrees Celsius, which is about 82, 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Just amazing. We're supposed to get weather sort of like that again tomorrow, but it is like I'm in short sleeves outside today in like the beginning of October. Go figure that. But you know what? You don't want to hear me trumble and rumble and rant. You're here for the two main ladies, Aisha K. Staggers, and when she gets on, there she is, LaLa Key. What's going on, ladies?
Oh, it's definitely starting to feel like fall.
Yeah,
I see you're not, but it's starting to feel like fall. I've got my sweatshirt on.
Well, we've got some trees turning the color. My next door neighbor, his has a big maple tree, and there's leaves on the ground. So it's coming. It's coming. I'm a coming. As one of your friends would say, LaLa, I'm a coming. It's coming.
We had a mixture of the fall and the cool earlier this week, and here we are at 80 today too. It's like 82.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit all over. All right, ladies, I make this a regular tradition now. Give me a win that you've had since we've last been together.
I actually learned how to do lo-fi, and so I have a track on my Living the LaLa account that will be premiering this week with 35 minutes of lo-fi chill vibe.
Wow. So what was the impetus to do that?
Well, it was a love-hate thing because there's so much going on with AI music. I wanted to see what I could do with it and to see if I was happy with it. It's still a 50-50 for me. It is not okay for me for like people to go in and copy other people's music and things of that nature and then come out and be an AI artist. But for things like creating bumper music for your videos and things like that you produce shows with, I don't have a problem with it on that. I have a very hard line when it comes to now you're giving AI artists $3 million.
Yeah, I'm not living with that.
Yeah. But for just basic soundtracks for your videos, like, because I do a lot of live streaming myself, that to me is okay. I mean, because a lot of the times you can't pay to stream other people's music or pay for that. But and plus sometimes you can't really find something that fits your style. So I was playing around with it this week. I'm happy with what I came up with the lo-fi.
Okay, so explain to the masses, what is lo-fi?
Lo-fi is kind of a background type of music that if you want to chill, if you want to just kick it, if you're trying to study or you're trying to focus or maybe you're trying to fall asleep, I do it at the megahertz that kind of keeps you low and lull and just kind of like chilled out. So that's what lo-fi is.
Okay. That's my kind of music when I like to do reading or work on stuff, have that music in the background, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Aisha K.
Let's see, what did I do this week? Look, I got all my homework done.
Okay, But it had to be school.
I got all my homework done. I didn't think I was gonna make it.
Are you still ahead? Are you still ahead?
Am I still ahead? Look, I'm on time. Oh, I'm one assignment. Look, I'm one assignment on a team assignment. We are ahead. We got that assignment in a day and a half early. Yeah.
Well,
I was the
I remember,
one who had to submit it, so I submitted it. Yeah.
I always remember being back in school having to do team assignments, and there was always times where that one person wouldn't carry their weight.
Always.
We're on a consulting team. We're doing we're consulting with a business. So yeah, we got our stuff together. Yeah, we're good.
Nice. Nice. Are you still enjoying it?
Yeah, I am. I'm tired. but it's mostly doing the helping my daughter out, getting her to work at the hospital at 6 a.m.
Right. Well,
and I don't understand. Here's my beef. You know what? I'm gonna say this because we're gonna talk about this shutdown. I'm gonna say this. I do not understand. You know what? Governors. You want to talk about the shutdown? The governors are the ones who are going to need to do this because I see 6 o'clock in the morning. There's traffic. There is traffic. Highway. I leave the house at 4:45 so that I can get my daughter to work at a drive that only takes 33 minutes, so she can be to work at time at 6 o'clock, and we still hit traffic.
Hey,
baby, that was my life in LA. I absolutely hated it. One time it took me 4 hours to get home from showing properties.
But do you know how little Connecticut is? It's because they are doing road work on the highway. But guess what? Because when you get to where they're supposedly doing road work, do you want to know what the traffic is? It's because people are looking at the signs that say they're going to start doing road work. There's no road work being done.
Rubbernecking.
Yeah, rubbernecking.
Yes.
That's what we say in Toronto. I've said many people, we say in Toronto, there's only 2 seasons in Toronto, winter and construction. That's it. That's it. Construction. Yeah. And it's got to Toronto now. The only time there isn't traffic is basically between maybe, like 1 o'clock in the morning and 4:30 in the morning.
If it wasn't for nosy people, there wouldn't be any traffic on the roads in Connecticut.
Yeah, I can't. I just here it's just I used to enjoy driving. I don't enjoy it as much anymore. And when I have to do a road trip, the toughest part of the road trip is getting out of Toronto.
You want people in the South, you want to know why northern drivers are so aggressive and so mean? This is why, because it's unnecessary for people to watch all the cars. Oh, there's so many cars on the road. I'm just going to look at all the daggone pretty colors of the different cars. No, drive.
I'm laughing with you, not at you. But rubberneckers, yeah, like of course, when you're driving one way, the traffic's crazy, but the only reason it's crazy because people are looking at the accident on the other side of the road, on the highway.
But in a 4-lane highway, you can't really see. In a 4-lane highway, and you are on the first lane, all the slow lane, all the way over, you can't see on the other side. There's no need for you to be slowing up traffic so that me on the fast lane has to slow down.
I can't speak for you on that. Sorry. Let me get escape out of this conversation. Number 1 fan Jen Meyer says hello. Also, she says it's 84 degrees and sunny in Cleveland. Hey, are you disappointed about your baseball team? They got knocked out by the Detroit Tigers. Sorry to hear. Any other general rants before we go to break and come back? We got our traffic rant out of the way.
Yeah. but but see, in Connecticut, the sad part is that it's either going north toward Hartford, you're going to get stuck in that mess, and then if you're going south, the closer you get to New York, oh God, it's like you're just stuck in the middle.
Yes,
and you just stay there because there's like no leaving.
You're trapped.
You're just trapped.
Okay.
You can't get out.
LaLa says, I used to have those experiences, but no, not recently. Not me. All right.
I mean, God forbid, getting out of Connecticut, going south is the worst part because once you try to get past Bridgeport, forget it.
LaLa, do you have any support in this conversation? You're just okay.
I have flashbacks. LA ruined me for driving at all. I absolutely hate driving now. It is because of living in LA for so long.
Oh, who's in the house? The Wallamala says New York traffic versus Los Angeles will be a contest.
Yeah.
Facts. All right. Well, since Aisha's got her first rant out of her, and LaLa's giving her cute faces to us, we're gonna go on a break, and we'll be back. We don't have a lot of conversation topics, but they're deep conversation topics, and we'll be back. Yeah, let's be back in about 30 seconds. Black Men Can Talk, a show where Black Canadian men come together to have real and filtered conversations about life, culture, and community.
When you speak with brothers who are not necessarily connected to community, they often think to themselves, what can I do?
You look and you compare yourself to everything on that screen and you're feeling bad about yourself.
Look at it as what opportunities can this particular challenge bring?
For it to be publicized, young people have to be at the forefront and not just tokenizing those conversations.
There you go. Black Men Can Talk on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, with myself and two other Black Canadian men give lenses on different stories from a Black Canadian man's point of view. First off, girlfriends chat, Aisha, LaLa, and Jill Jones. There's a Patreon address. There's a Substack address. The store, there's the address there. Join our Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com or click on that link in Discord, and subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Finally, I'm at 1,920 subscribers, so now looking to hit 1,930. If you haven't subscribed yet and you feel up to it, please do. And also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Also, if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on our platform, email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. Finally, Indie Soup Media, our friend Dr. Tachi's platform on YouTube, been around for about 18, 19 months, 28,000 subscribers. Remember, only 4% of all YouTube channels have over 10,000 subscribers. And a lot of portions of this epic conversation are on that platform. And Dr. Tachi is just a wonderful lady. If you haven't seen her, go check that out. And then finally, if you have a question or take, you can call in. Go to your favorite browser, put in callme.rode.com, or you can, there's a QR code I can show you in a bit, but go to callme.rode.com. When you get there, make sure you have echo cancellation turned on, put in your name, and then you'll get a join the conversation, hit that green button, and we're ready to go. So speaking about ready to go, let's get an introduction to our first conversation topic.
Our first topic on today's show is the United States federal government is shut down again.
All right. Ladies, let me ask first, why does this keep on happening like at least 2 or 3 times a year? Why does it shut down all the time?
Because they continue to kick the can down the road. But this time is different. There is a different agenda for this shutdown. And we've been talking about it for years. We've been talking about Project 2025. We've been talking about how they've all lined up these things to happen. And what they're doing with this is now trying to blame the Democrats when in actuality, all of this is all on them. They have the White House, they have the Congress, they have the Senate. And they want control of certain things. They want the Democrats to bow down to what they want to change the budget to. So this shutdown is about power and not necessarily kicking the can down the road. This is all about, we want what we want. We want to make sure that we stay on agenda for our Project 2025. The leaders are all standing together on this, so much so that the Speaker of the House, Mr. Woo Woo, has shut it down for anything for next week. If they were really trying to get a budget agreed upon, he wouldn't be shutting down the whole Congress for a week on these votes. So it's all about power. It's all about punishment. And no telling, well, we do know, but there are things going on behind the scenes of this that the general public really are not aware of. So it's not, unfortunately, Dr. Bob, the answer to this one is a little bit different than what it normally is when I say kicking the can down the road. This here is about being the totalitarian authorities that they want to do. They want to continue to move forward with all power.
Well, I mean, first of all, they knew in January this shutdown was coming. And the reason they do it is because after everybody was sworn in January, the very first thing that they knew that they had to do was come up with a budget to fund the government for the next fiscal year. That's because that's what happens every year, period. And the thing is that they put forth a budget. They didn't have the votes on either side to kick forth the budget. So what did they do? They did, okay, well, we'll do a continuing resolution. So that's what they did in March. We'll do a continuing resolution to put forth the budget. That's what Chuck Schumer got suckered into, okay? And that they figured that, okay, they got through that, then we'll do this other budget. Well, what they ended up doing was doing this one big, beautiful bill. That actually is the budget. The problem that they have is that that budget will not take effect until after the election of 2026. So we will be in this continuing resolution cycle until 2026. Why does that budget not take effect until 2026? Because Republicans don't want to be holding the bag until after the election. They don't want anything that budget will be responsible for until after the election. They don't want it to impact their chances of winning seats or losing seats in that election. So that is why we will be in continuing resolution cycles every 6 months. So continuing resolution will only allow them to fund the budget for 6 months. So that's why we're here again. So they need to do a continuing resolution. The problem in this continuing resolution is that they have slid in language that will, on October 1st, made it so that the premiums in the ACA will go up on people who have, the things that they were, the subsidies that were implemented during COVID will expire. Those were things that were really helping people out and lowering costs for families. Democrats are like, yeah, that's a no. Because those things are already set to expire in 2026 as a result of this big bill. So what are we looking at? If they expire now, they're also going to get an increase, another balloon when that big bill goes into place in 2026. And more people are going to get kicked off the rolls in this medical thing. So Democrats are like, yeah, no, we're not going to sign it because of this thing. And so that's why we are here. But make no mistake, Republicans own this. They cannot pass this continuing resolution because they don't have enough votes in the Senate.
Which is why they're not swearing in people either.
Well, and let's be very clear. The House has one more person to swear in. Now, mind you, last week they swore in their additional person, but they won't swear in this Democrat person because once they do that, they will have to take a vote on this Jeffrey Epstein thing. Now, if they were really about trying to work across the aisle and come to some kind of resolution on this CR and do a clean, now mind you, when they talk a clean CR, it would just be, we're funding everything as it is, and we're not sliding any additional language into this bill. It's just funding at it as it is, and we're going back to the drawing board. It's not a clean bill. But when they go, if they were really about negotiating things and going back, he wouldn't be sending them home. He's sending them home because that Jeffrey Epstein thing. So they're really nickel and diming it and trying to say, oh, this is the Democrats' fault. No, it's their fault. It's their fault. They walked into this knowing that we will be in the continuing resolution cycle until December 1st, 2026, when their budget bill actually goes into effect.
And also, let's talk about what the lowness, the evilness that they are doing behind this. They have taken over a lot of the government websites and saying exactly this. And I'm reading this directly from the USDA website. Due to the radical left Democrat shutdown, this government website will not be updated during the funding lapse. President Trump has made it clear he wants to keep the government open and support those who feed and fuel our government. This is a straight up lie. And this is also against the Hatch Act. These websites, these parts of the government are supposed to be nonpartisan completely. They are only there for government purpose, meaning getting things done within their circles, and not being they have to be bipartisan. They have to be neutral, rather. But on almost all, I can't say that I went to all the websites, but I went to HUD, I went to USDA, I went to the Agriculture, Department of Agriculture. I went to all of those, and every last one of those had that on their website.
They've also hijacked the emails of the people who are on furlough and people who are working, and their return emails to people who email them says in the first person that I cannot get back to you because the radical left Democrats have put us into a shutdown. But here's even further than that. It's not just that they're violating all of these things too. I think we have to go back to the funding of the government. I think that this administration forgets who actually funds the government and how the government gets funded. The government gets funded by our tax dollars. It's not like every state cuts the government one big check at the beginning of the year. No, they make payments, electronic payments to the government. They're cutting off. First of all, they're stopping projects to blue states and blue cities. They're saying that they're going to permanently fire people. Now, mind you, these people that they're going to permanently fire are people that they had already planned to fire in the big, beautiful bill anyway. They're talking about firing 140,000 people. Guess what? They have already slated to fire more than that 140,000 people anyway. And here's the thing, that they can't be trusted to to negotiate with. They can say that, oh yeah, we'll keep those jobs, and then turn around and find a reason to fire them anyway. DEI something. They'll find a way.
But only to call them back in a lot of the cases because she won.
Right. But but this is the thing that for me, they get the money from these states. What if these states, and I'm all for New Jersey and New York saying, you know what? You're taking away this $8 billion project. Well, New York gives you $89 billion. How about we just stop payment? We're going to stop this flow of funds to the federal government because we need our citizens' tax dollars to fund this project right here for our residents because they actually need it. And as a matter of fact, because you're cutting jobs right now, we also need to give unemployment or some temporary assistance to the federal workers who work in our state right now because you're playing with the federal government. And guess what? We're also going to need our money to create some state jobs for those federal workers you're going to fire. So we're not going to be able to contribute to the federal government. But since you are taking care of those red states, let the red states come up with that money. And I think
in your opinion, because I really would love to hear your opinion that I'm in total agreement with you on that. Absolutely 1000%. But do you think that they will really do it?
I do. Honestly, I think that the ones here are the ones I think will do it. I think Massachusetts will do it. I think Ned Lamont will be forced to do it. My governor can try to toe the line, but he's got a supermajority that will force him to do it. And then he'll be reminded that he was on Morning Joe the other day screaming that the electricity is too expensive. Governor Hochul will be forced to do it. I think that Tim Walz will do it. I think that Josh Shapiro will think about doing it, and someone will remind him that you have presidential aspirations. You better think again and try and do it. I think that Governor Newsom will do it. And
I think Governor Newsom will do it for sure.
Yep. And I think that will be enough to give courage
to others
to do it. Gretchen Whitmer might not do it because but guess what? She might also do it because guess what? She's a lame duck.
She's caught, and she knows it.
She's not run. She can't run again. She's lame duck.
That's what I mean. She's pretty much behind the eight ball.
But guess what? She's not endorsing that her black lieutenant governor. And I bet you, if he says that he's for it, he's gonna win. But guess what? The states that I named give the most. And when it comes to giving the most, give the most. That's enough to shake. That is enough to shake him up, because guess what? The federal government can't take that money from the businesses and all his little friends. They legally can't take the money from them. And if those states say, "Hey, you took the money from us that we give," we have no choice but to take care of our residents. And if our state legislatures say this is what we have to do to take care of our residents, sorry, our people first, states' rights. Y'all red states said that first, states' rights. It's going to be a different thing. And see, this is the misstep that I think that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries made.
Yes.
They tried to make it about Congress. When your arms are tied, the governors, and the mayors especially, but the governors especially, their arms aren't tied the way yours are, because the money's you guys get to decide what happens with the money, but the money's flowing from them. They're the ones that collect it.
Well, I'm just going to be very honest. I'm sick to death of both of them.
Yeah.
Schumer and Hakeem. I'm done with them. I don't want to hear another word from them. I don't believe them. I can't believe that they're not being the leadership that they need to be.
I want you're reading my alleged mind, because if I have your permission to interrupt, do you feel that Jeffries and Schumer are the right people to be leading this?
No.
What's your
And
reason?
he has proven that.
And they won't be. And I'm gonna tell you this, because
Okay, I'm gonna have you hold on. I want LaLa to finish your point. So LaLa, finish your point, and then Aisha.
No, my point is they've already proven that they are spineless. And the fact that I know that they are, and the fact that he came out and said, well, what do you want to do about it? Like, we're unnumbered. And then when he got that backlash from that, he lost all respect. And the Democrats are losing numbers in droves. People are tired. They're tired of it. They're tired of just a few who are standing up and really being vocal, and then the ones who talking loud and saying nothing, which is Hakeem and Schumer. Both of them need to go. They are not good leadership for us, and they need to learn to stand up and fight properly and stop worrying so much about lining their pockets. Because if I get one more email from them, I need $5, help us, you're not getting 1 red cent from me ever again, because you're not fighting for us. You're laying down and letting it happen.
It's so funny. I was talking to a Democratic operative, and I said, I'm gonna give you this piece of advice. And I said, this is coming from me, not just as a photographer, as somebody who works in communications. I'm saying I'm taking my part out as even just someone who's dabbled in political communications. I said, the first thing that you guys needed to do at the beginning of the year, from the first 6 months, was to stop all solicitations for money, period. And just tell people what you were doing. Tell people where you were showing up. Tell people where you were fighting for them. Tell people what you were doing, period. Show pictures, give dates, give things like that. I said, because the constant solicitations for money were just disrespectful.
But
period.
you know who is doing that? It's Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah. And here's the other part for me. Is like, I'll tell you this. Hakeem Jeffries is trying so hard to embody the look and the regalia and the image of Adam Clayton Powell without the spine of Adam Clayton Powell.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect explanation, Aisha. Really,
right? Because Adam Clayton Powell, you can say whatever you want about anything, but for all the smoke, he would go into those offices of those white men and sit in the chair, put his feet up on their desks, and say, "Now say it to my face."
Exactly.
You know, he was very ballsy, and Hakeem is not. And the one thing, and I'm sorry, but the one thing that Hakeem Jeffries needed to tell Nancy Pelosi when she started grooming him was, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to do this my way.
Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? She's nowhere. We've not heard one word from her. Where is she?
No. Well, you know what? She's in the background doing the things that she's doing, because guess what? Part of where is she? Well, she's in the back doing sabotage like she was doing with Kamala. Okay, so here's my thing. This was not, they needed to enlist. If you don't have the power in Congress to fight him, then you needed the power of the people, and the people who were closest to the people who could see and tell you the everyday impact of what this was going to look like to the people in the cities, in the states. Those were going to be the mayors, the governors, the city representatives, the state representatives. Those were the people that you needed to enlist to tell the story. Those are the people that you needed to round up and get the message out on local news, local TV. Those were the people, because guess what? There are 435 members of Congress, but do you know that there are more than 12,000 elected officials across the country in various other offices and elected capacities, down to sheriffs, down to dog catchers, that you could have tapped into to be everywhere, period. Down to school board, I mean, patrol, okay? That is what you do. Because guess who flooded the zone with the message about Democrats didn't pass this bill because they wanted illegal immigrants to get health care, which wasn't true.
It's not true.
Republicans flooded the zone with that message. Guess who they had doing it? They had the drunk tank moms doing it.
Yep.
Moms for Liberty ain't even elected to offices. We're making videos. They had this grizzly Gert who had one tooth that you could recognize as a tooth, and everything else was just brown and broken, making videos. Democrats want to get making videos talking about this stuff. And y'all waited 3 days. It's shameful, man. And here's the other thing I need for you to do. If you're gonna still play politics like it's 2014, get the hell out of the way. It's not. You can't even play this game like it's 2020. It's not.
This is a different game. This is not politics of the old. This is a completely different game. This is complete takeover.
Yes. And let me tell you something. There are things now that weren't even available in 2020. The deep fakes are deeper.
Oh my God. If you've seen anything about Sora 2, I posted something today that told people, please, before you share anything, before you do anything, please make sure you do your research, because the harm that is being done with this upgraded AI video and stuff, y'all, there was one today that I couldn't even tell. And I was absolutely shocked.
If your president thought that there was an actual news program where he gave an interview that he was giving away med beds, okay? Med beds that can regrow ears. And he didn't even recognize a deep fake of himself and was sharing it like it was real. Come on now.
All right. A few comments here. And I have one or two more conversation pieces, but just taking a look here. Enlightened Being says, Nancy is worthless. Talk about Nancy Pelosi. And she had another comment here. She says, I have a government job. I'm required to work with no pay. So what do you have to say for these pending government workers who either going to get laid off or gets furloughed?
I have 3 people that I know as of now that are either having to work without pay or have been completely furloughed. What can they do, Dr. Vibe? They can't. There is no recourse for this.
And the sad part, I can't remember if it's like furloughed. They're the people that will work. They're the people that will have to show up for work, and they won't get paid until after the shutdown. And people who are furloughed, they just won't get paid ever.
So can you just clarify for some of our audience, either live on the replay, what does furlough mean?
Go ahead, Aisha.
I've been furloughed once, and basically it's kind of like you're donating your service to your employer.
Okay.
They have the option of sending you home without pay if there's nothing for you to do. So, but it's not guaranteed that you will get your money after the shutdown is over. Because if they send you home, you're not working.
Yeah.
So, and it depends on the department as well. So it's not a across the board thing where you may not get paid, because it just depends on what you do for the government.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of suspended. They basically say that it's like a temporary loss of work or shortage of work, that you're like released from your job. But
it's kind of like what they do with the cops. Like if they're doing an investigation, they send you home without pay during that time. It's basically that.
But you still have the job, but you're not suspended. It's just like, we have no work. There's no work for you to do here. Kind of like the office is shut down, but you're not going to get paid for it. So, for example, there are the people who have to show up to work, and they won't be getting paid for the service. Like there are offices that will remain open. People have to show up for work, and they won't be getting paid. They'll have to show up for their regular 40 hours. They won't be getting paid. They might have to do that for 3 months, and they won't get paid until the shutdown is over. But that
also includes things like if they have to travel for work.
Yep.
Like if they have to get on the highway, they won't get paid for the mileage or their car expenses, no hotel expenses. If they have to stay there, they get nothing. It has to come all out of their pocket. And let's face it, let's tie this into the fact that most Americans are one paycheck away from bankruptcy.
Right. A person who's furloughed, technically, if when my company was furloughed, I was working at a university that they had to furlough some people. So some people that were furloughed, they got temporary jobs during the time that we were furloughed, so they could, because they weren't having to go in the office. But those people that have to show up 40 hours a week,
they can't get other jobs. I mean, not if they're doing 40 hours a week. And let's also face the truth of, if the government is shut down and they are required to be at the office, they have more than 40 hours worth of work to do, because they will be sending other people home and expect you to do the work of two.
Right.
So
it's really a mess. It's really a mess. And then you remember too that while these people are being furloughed, they're looking into these people to see if they can fire them anyway.
For any reason whatsoever. However,
for any reason
whatsoever, the government officials get paid. Congress and Senate, they still get paid.
They're still getting paid. And mind you, when someone is furloughed, technically your job is supposed to kind of be safe. But those protections are, but now they've removed those protections. And I was listening to some people who were being interviewed last night talking about that they don't really necessarily even feel safe. Even before the shutdown, they didn't feel safe in their workforce anymore, because it was they didn't even know what you could and could not do at the office anymore, because it seemed like every little thing was suspect. Like you could breathe the wrong way and be like, oh, are you a radical left because you breathe this, just it was insane.
So the Walamala says work expenses without pay. Oof, might have to save money not going to work at that point. Also want to say greetings, Dr. Tashe is in the house. What is up? I want to ask, this shutdown, is it any different than previous shutdowns?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Like, this is not, baby, this is not your average bear, boo-boo. Like Hanna-Barbera used to say, this is not your average bear, boo-boo. This is all about power and taking over and taking control. This is not about what it was before, kicking the can down the road. This is a totally different time. And this is why people think it's so cute nowadays. I don't see why we can't talk if we don't agree politically. Because, bitch, you're not on my side no more. We are literally now at war.
Yeah.
And not only that, brings in the world into this war as well.
Yeah. I was telling my daughter this yesterday, and I was thinking about it. It's like, why is this different, and why does this feel different now? Well, it feels different now because people have made politics their entire identity, not just their identity, but their personality, every aspect of it. For example, there is no reason why anyone in the press corps should be asking the press secretary to weigh in, or has the president weighed in on the NFL Super Bowl performance. Why? For
Exactly.
what? When there's a whole shutdown. That is not something that we need his input on. Okay, that is above and below his pay grade at the same time. Okay, we don't need his input on that. What we do need to know about is the cost of these eggs. When is he going to bring that down? Because for a year we've been talking about it.
Baby, the price of chickens done gone up now too, because people are learning to put them babies in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So from both of you,
so
go ahead.
So my thing is, can we have that conversation?
No, unfortunately, Aisha, we can't have that conversation because everything that they do, everything they touch is all made for destruction of our country. And so they're not going to have these conversations with us. We have a madman in the White House who can't even get one sentence out before he says, "Look at me. I'm great. I'm the best person you ever seen." That I can go to sleep and recite how he answers every question. "I have a bigger heart than you. I am the most peaceful. Somebody give me a Nobel Peace Prize. I am
Well, this is how but this is how you know there are things that people just don't take very seriously. Because I was wondering, like, wait a second. In reality, if Hamas actually really agreed to giving back hostages and having an agreement and ending a war, you would think that this would be like a nonstop story that they would cover on a 24-hour news cycle, right? They mentioned it, but it's like they didn't believe it. The mainstream media didn't believe it enough to cover it, to just mention it, and then they went back to something else. I was like, okay, even they didn't believe that.
Which was a bet? Well, the Democrats are steadfast on the health care,
which I think is the absolute wrong thing to focus on.
What would you have focused on? Because that was going to be my question. Because I was going to bring another topic that they may have focused on. Would have been, some people thought they could have done on this one instead of healthcare.
I would have said, Donald Trump is shutting down the government. Excuse me. Thank you. Donald Trump is shutting down the government. Period.
Okay, but hold on.
It's only him.
Do you think if the Democrats pushed the release of the Epstein files, that would have been a better target?
Well, they are.
Well, yeah. I said
one of the reasons they're not swearing in.
Go ahead,
I just said Donald Trump is shutting down the government so that the Democrats, so that the House of Representatives can't vote on the Epstein files. Period. Okay. I would have said Donald Trump is also shutting down the government so that he can fire as many government employees as possible. And I would keep playing Russell Voigt's or whatever his name is tape on a nonstop thing, because he wants to cause trauma to government workers. I would say that. as often as possible. I would say Donald Trump is shutting down the government, because Donald Trump has the House of Representatives, he has the Senate, and he has the White House. Tell me, how can Democrats shut down a government they don't control?
LaLa, question for you. How do these shutdowns compound disparities for Blacks, Latinos, and single-parent households?
We're the main targets. We are the main targets. This is why they attack DEI. The top people who have lost their jobs are Black women. We have lost our jobs in droves and numbers higher than any other group out there. The whole point is to strip power and prestige of anyone who is of color, because their whole thought, their whole aim is to get back the power to white people. This is why you are labeled as dangerous. This is why you are labeled as woke. This is why you are labeled as the radical left, because you are the danger that needs to be taken out. So how does it affect us? It affects us in jobs. It affects us in pay. It affects our families, because all of this trickles down to our schools and our communities. I can tell you right now, Meals on Wheels is running out of money. So who are the most people who get the Meals on Wheels? Are elderly, and a lot of them are with people of color. So it's a trickle down effect that has been around for ages. You know how the Ronald Reagan thing, everybody said it was a trickle down effect. Well, baby, when the world has a cold, we have the freaking flu and pneumonia. Our communities are targeted first, from the top of our elderlies all the way down to the babies that are being born today, because things are taken away from them. No stability of education, no stability of home, no stability of jobs. And this is the way that they want it to be. This is the main target. Now they are hiding behind. No, they're not hiding. They have Project 2025 up, and it's backed by Christian nationalism, which is a white supremacist thought and a white supremacist act. So if you don't fit that mold, Dr. Vibe, then you don't fit that mold, and you're not a part of what they want for them. You are now an enemy of the state.
Christian nationalists are nothing but white citizens councils. Period. That's all they are in the modern day. But I'll tell you this. Project 2025 is the revenge Bible for the 92%, because they are mad that that's the population that helped Joe Biden win in 2020. Period. And if you read between the lines, that is who they ultimately have tried to destroy, because the impacts have been too great. It's look if you look where they're going right now. Look at where they're going right now. Look at who they're trying to entice to come out and start rioting. That neighbor, they went to Chicago. They went to a building in Chicago in the middle of the night where they knew there would largely be Black women and children.
And what did they do to the children, y'all? They drug those babies out of there, and a lot of them weren't even dressed. They were naked.
They handcuffed those women. They tried to start a riot. And notice the cities they're going into: Memphis, Chicago, LA, New York. They're trying to go in Detroit next, Philly, all these places, right? Because what did we say we were doing at the beginning? We are staying home.
When you have Congress people running down the street in their neighborhood screaming for their constituents, stay in the house, do not leave, ICE is here, and she's chasing ICE out on her own, we are beyond the danger zone. You have a congresswoman running in heels, screaming at our constituents, stay in the house, stay in the house. They are here for you. And the panic in her voice, and for her to tell them to remove your mask, you're a coward. She's standing there on her own. We are in a war for real.
And that's what he wants. He will not be happy until the streets look like a war zone and look like a military, because he thinks it'll make him look tough. And then he needs to get himself a photo op where his fat, lazy ass up there and with a pumped fist.
Which
As
let's
it
not
is,
miss the
look,
point.
as it is, he's talking about minting a dollar bill with him in a pumped fist that says "fight, fight, fight."
Let's not forget that Pete Hegsmith, what's his name? Pete. I can't even get the names right because I call them nicknames, and some of those nicknames I can't say on this show. This is why, but you know, he's sitting up there telling these admirals and all these people, these lieutenants, and telling them, you know, we need to be the fittest, we need to be the best. He can't even do a pull up, and if he's talking about all this stuff, look at the president ordering McDonald's and throwing spaghetti against the wall. How dare they dishonor our military like that?
He can't even pass a sobriety test.
All right, I want to ask then both of you, what are Democrats? If you were representing the Democrats, what would you be your non-negotiables?
The non-negotiable for one is the Epstein files, because everything goes back to that. We are seeing all these other smoke screens. It goes back to that.
The non-negotiable is to swear in our person and get your boy in Texas to hold this election, because we got another seat. Because guess what? Once we get that other seat, you know that the numbers will be even in the House, right?
Okay, also from a Democratic lens, what if you were giving suggestions to the Democratic Party, what frames resonate with independence without alienating the base during this type of situation?
I don't give a damn, because independents lie. Independents in this country right now are mostly right-leaning.
I have to agree with Aisha on that, because you know what? You're not doing it for me.
That's like Ice Cube sitting up here all this time talking about, well, I don't think that, Kamala Harris, what about the Black Platinum Plan? And Kamala Harris, she didn't mean nothing to me because she didn't come and talk to me. And this fool was going to vote for Donald Trump the whole time.
Okay. So it sounds like this modern budget process is broken beyond repair. What reforms would you prioritize? Where does it need to be?
We have to take our government back, Dr. Vibe. And I don't mean just take it back. It needs to be completely rehauled.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking at their own pocket.
Go ahead, LaLa. LaLa, let LaLa finish. LaLa.
Everybody is looking at their own bottom line in their own pocket and worrying about their own careers. It is time for a complete wipe out. We need term limits. We need age limits. Do you realize we have people up there that are 100 years old calling the shots? Half of them ain't even coming in to vote. So a complete wipe out needs to happen, and new rules need to be put into place. That sounds like a smoke screen. It sounds like a magic Puff the Magic Dragon, but I know that it totally can. But as long as they're all working to protect themselves, Mr. Democrat, Mrs. Democrat, I'm talking to you too. Then nothing will get done, because they're so worried about themselves that they're not worried about the American people.
But that's the problem, is that in order to even change that, those things take an act of Congress versus being voted on by the people. If we could have, unfortunately, because those laws are set such that we have put our trust in the people that we elect to vote on those things, rather than having those things on a public ballot the same way we do the president. Those things, I think, are things that we should be able to vote on, like term limits. We should be able to have that say, not Congress.
I've got a conversation point for you specifically, Aisha, and maybe LaLa, you want to chime in after. So, Aisha, you've written extensively on political narratives. How is the shutdown being framed in mainstream versus Black media?
Well, mainstream media is framing it. Well, here's the thing. depends on what Black media you have, because most Black media is now corporate owned, and then the Black media that's not corporate owned is trying to play catch up with mainstream media, right? So mainstream corporate media is really, it depends. I think a lot of it is still trying to get in the room or stay in the room with the president and not get kicked out. So their handling of it depends on the day. So at first it was kind of like, oh, Dems are losing Dems are losing the narrative on this. The Republicans have the narrative. Now that things are kind of shifting and the people haven't been hoodwinked. The American people haven't lost the narrative. The American people are not hoodwinked by the Republicans, which is the part that I like. That now that the media is starting to see that people aren't falling for the narrative the media is trying to give them, that Republicans have the message, that Republicans are the ones carrying forward the right message. The people are like, yeah, nah, this is all because of the Republicans. Now that the polling of the people is showing that the people aren't with Republicans on this, so people see that the Republicans are doing this, that they blame Trump, the mainstream media is starting to shift and say, well, now the people aren't believing Republicans, and now Republicans are actually starting to slip in their messaging a bit because they saw the polling and they're kind of like losing it a bit. And now, and what really didn't help them and got them off message was the gift that is Lutnick. Lutnick giving the interview about Jeffrey Epstein that he just didn't have to. I mean, shutting up was free, and he just fell into Jeffrey Epstein, is a creep kind of thing, which he gave Democrats a gift and reminded people that, oh yeah, this really is a distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein thing, and oh yeah, there is a Democrat that they're sitting, and then Johnson helps further this along by saying that, oh yeah, the House is going to be closed because we don't want this woman to be sworn. So it was an unforced error, and that thing, it was an unforced error. So that thing that they say in politics where your enemy or your opponent is punching themselves in the face, you don't jump in. Well, Republicans jumped in the way of,
Before we pursue further, again, if you are watching this live, please go to callme.road.com and use the code FSPL8L. Also, when you get to that page, put in your name, put in the echo cancellation. You'll see a green light up saying join the conversation. Would love someone to call in today. LaLa, I've got a conversation point for you because you are very much online. What messaging cuts through online? What's working on Instagram, TikTok?
Independent reporters.
Yeah.
I do not look at CNN. I do not look at, God knows I never watch Fox, but I do not go to mainstream media because they've all been compromised. I have dug through so many content creators and I know who to trust. Aaron Perrins is one of them. I absolutely love him. And I make sure that I watch Don Lemon, and I make sure that we watch Joy. But what is cutting through is the real reporting that also can be backed up with facts. So that is the wild card in all of this, because we've never had that before. And I do want to point out, you were talking about Black media. Something very important happened this week, and the root is now going back to Black-owned hands. Ashley Allison, a Democratic political strategist and a CNN commentator, said Thursday that she is acquiring the root from GO Media, and she is going to go back to controlled by private equity firm. This is the things that we need to see again, like the BETs and these things that used to be owned by us that have our voice and our support need to go back to us in order for them to be trusted once again. So let's not play like that's not a very important thing, because it is important. We need reports by our people in our communities on who we can trust. And the TikTok and the Instagrams and these independent reporters, that is the way. And that's what's putting the what do they call it, the thorn in the side right now, because they won't shut up and they'll continue to tell the truth.
Yeah.
In real time. In real time.
Yeah. I wish TV One would bring back its morning show. They had a really good morning program with Roland Martin, but he was such a diva. That's what I know. They because Kathy Hughes still owns it, but I know they separated because it was that, and it was extreme because he was such a diva. It was extremely expensive to produce, but it was a good show. But yeah, I'm glad that the Root is going to be Black owned again. But Lutnick, I think, is going to be gone by Thanksgiving. So he did Dems a solid, right, for that. So I think that now that part has helped, Dem-leaning, right, left-leaning media has felt a little bit more braver going back to it. Mainstream Black media, however, hasn't. I have to say this: mainstream Black media hasn't been as attentive to the political stuff as I really wish it would be.
Yeah.
They're trying too much. They're trying to really cover a lot of things, and I get that because there are so few mainstream Black media sources. But they are so entertainment heavy, and I'm afraid that
and foolishness entertainment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like foolishness. Like
right. And I'm afraid that being this entertainment heavy in this moment, not all of our people are going to survive, and I want our people to survive.
Okay, before if I have your permission to interrupt, got some other people saying hello. Cinema Canella, where you been, girl? Where you been? But good to have you. Also, some people liking the conversation. Katrina Ray Porter, and also AKA Miss Black Hollywood, Tiara KJ Williams. Like it, Tiara. So good to see you. So good to see you. So good. Cinema Canal goes, yes, I know. Yes, you know. We ain't gonna go any farther. We know where you been, where you been, where you been. But glad to have you here.
Katrina, I'm glad you joined us tonight. That's one of my good friends. Yeah.
Oh, so what potential impacts will this have for the midterms next year?
It's going to have all
doubt it will have. Actually, I seriously will doubt it will have any, because, and the reason I say that is because Americans don't remember things. Because if they did remember things, they would remember how bad the first 4 years under this president were before they voted for a second.
I was going to say the same thing. It's going to have a big impact, because God knows if we're even going to have them, because they've already started doing the strategic of we can't have them. Matter of fact, Trump actually did come out and say, and he did it on national TV, of course, with asking the experts. So if we're at war,
that's why he's trying to. That's why he's trying to start wars. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And more family coming in. And Jennifer Canella goes, thank you. Regina's in the house, has been listening while driving. I couldn't text. Well, drive safe, please, and thank you. And we're still waiting for you to call in one day. Let's make one day. I won't say 2 day because you're driving, but you could maybe do it while you're driving. Free Wheel says, hello, good people. And the Walamala says they have goldfish memory. Hello.
Goldfish memory.
You like that one, LaLa?
I do. I like that.
Goldfish. So let's ask this one for Aisha. How do you advise Democrats to talk about governance and competence without sounding technocratic?
Just talk like regular people. My God, it's not that hard. It is not that hard. You know, I've been saying this all week on Blue Sky. I'm like, we just need one really messy person. Just one really messy Democrat. You know, just one person. So just, I'm like, you know, and look, maybe that's my campaign strategy. I'm just going to be messy. I don't know. Maybe just be that one messy person, you know, just that messy person, the snitch. Like, I'm sorry, but yo, they're over here giving refunds to Bezos. They're taking your tax dollars and they're giving tax refunds to Bezos over here, but you can't afford to give your kids shoes. I mean, just somebody who's messy. Just tell, like, You know, all that tax money that you think you pay for welfare for people. Let me tell you the real welfare scam. I mean, just
Well, I
somebody
see
who's
Jasmine doing that. I see Jasmine doing that every single day.
oh yeah, she does. Yeah, she does it every day. But just like Democrats just need to be real. Just talk to people. Look, let me tell you something. You pay $36, $36, $36 a year. Period. Goes in your taxes, maybe to pay for SNAP. If you make $70,000 a year, okay.
Yeah.
If you make $20,000 a year, you know how much you're paying for SNAP? Probably about 36 cents. But you know what you're paying $12 for? Marjorie Taylor Greene's hair. Now
Let
she
us
can afford to
sink in.
get her hair colored, but
Man,
honey, your
hold
roots
on.
are still showing.
$36 would cover me for a whole year.
But see, those are the kinds you have to make it. You have to make it real for
Yeah,
people.
you have to make it plain. You have to make it
You
plain.
got to make it plain for people, and that's what Democrats aren't seeing. It's like,
Okay.
you know the reasons. You know the reason why your interstate highway is so jacked up, because your governor, when Joe Biden offered your governor $12 million to repave the roads on your highway, Kay Ivey said, "Yeah, no, we're not taking it because you're a Democrat." And that's why your tires are so jacked up, and you got to go ask your mama and Bubba and them to borrow $350 for new tires. Because Kay Ivey said, no, thank you. And you're going to have to ask for $350 next year for new tires, because the same jacked up roads are going to exist, because Kay Ivey could have had nice paved roads, but she didn't want Joe Biden to provide the money. That came from New York. That wasn't even your money. Those were New Yorkers got suckered into paying for that.
Yeah, they like to play
It
the
was free
circus
money.
game.
That was free money. Let them liberals pay for that.
All right.
Nope.
Enlightened Being says, just talk to us. We ain't dumb. Cinnamon Canella says, yes, starting wars, and he is moving pieces to make sure no other brown-skinned person becomes president of the U.S. Free
You got
Will
that
says,
right.
my opinion, government shutdown. When were they open? Let's talk UAPs. Canadian Air Force knows about them too. What's up? It also says, they say building a new world order. Another conversation piece for both of you. How can, well, I'm going to ask LaLa first. How can people pressure their representatives effectively this week in the U.S.?
Baby, it's no longer about letter writing. You need to go to these offices. You need to go and protest. You need to go to their offices and stand there and make them accountable. Letter writing, writing them on their website, all that stuff, they don't look at that. They don't care. All right. They pretend like that makes a difference. It does not. If you don't get your out of it, nothing will change. I will say this again and over and over and over. We outnumber them. And until we get out of our seats and we start pounding on these doors and demanding answers and change, nothing is going to happen. So the power is within the power of the people.
I think a good example of that is, look at that. Look at the people threatening to cut all their stuff off from Disney.
Oh,
Like,
baby.
yeah, right.
Disney's suffering.
I think if you're a Democratic person, I would be channeling that energy right there.
But then the other thing you got to remember is that, it's whose money that they value. Because remember, Target is still standing 10 toes down. And they've lost
and
all kinds of
money by the day.
Right. And they're standing 10 toes down. Now, here's the other thing. I suggest you do. It's not your federal representatives you need to call. You need to start ringing the state representatives and the state senators and your governor's offices, Those are the people you need to call and tell them, yeah, we're tired of our money. If the government's going to stay shut down, we're tired of our state tax dollars going to fund the federal government, especially if you live in a blue state.
If you had 1 minute to speak to each speaker of the House, what would you tell them?
You're losing this
Resign.
battle. Move out the way.
Resign.
Thank you. Yeah. You're losing this battle. Get out of the way. You're useless now. Let's put someone someone in who truly does want to stand for the people.
Okay. All right. Got some more lots of conversation pieces here. Freewheel says .gum is making an attempt to release what people want to hear. I don't know about that. It's controlled by the government these days. Katrina Ray Porter has finally commented, they spend so much time raising money for parties instead of working for the people.
That's right. That's right.
also
This is
Freewheel said-
hence we get the text, we get the
Well, here's-
email,
here's the-
save us, save us.
And here's the problem. They already have big donors anyway. They're already concerned about their big donors anyway. Why are you sending emails to the small people?
Because they saw how that changed everything with President Obama. President
Oh,
Obama
yeah,
had
but
the grassroots.
here's the problem. If you know that you're polling and you know that your numbers are down with the small donors and you know that your numbers are down with voters, that should tell you, hey, maybe we need to change course and leave them alone on the money front. Really leave the fundraising arm up to the big donors and try and change course and fix how we're talking to the voters, because we need to raise our numbers with them, because guess what? We're right now we are literally 13 months out from an election.
Which is a blink of an eye, guys. We're already in October.
Right.
You see how we got here. It seems like 40,000 years, but you see we've already gotten October. I mean, in the scheme of things, this world is spinning so fast. You need to be thinking 5 steps ahead and not just one. And I don't see our Democratic representatives doing that.
What does this reveal about the state of American democracy and institutional trust?
There is
Well, I
none.
mean, it's always been fragile. That's the whole thing. But there's not any institutional trust. But here's the thing. I think the thing is that white people on the left, some, are starting to learn what Black people and other people of color, other disenfranchised people have known all along. And that's why this shutdown and this time in America feels different for a lot of people. For me, it feels different, but it doesn't feel different. We've seen this before, but I think it feels different because I think a lot more people are experiencing what fewer of us have experienced before.
And that's when the chickens come home to roost.
Mm.
Okay. How do we move from crisis governing to durable coalition building?
What?
We're not going to get to that point. We're not going to get to
again.
We're not going to get to that point.
So how can America move from crisis governing to durable coalition building? Is there any room to
there's
build-
no way for us to get to that point. There's no way to get to that point because there's nobody. If
The lights are on, but ain't nobody home.
Right. If this were like 2006,
Yeah.
you could say that. This is it's too far gone to even. There are people in this country who can't be fixed. There are people in this country you can't even talk to. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it this way. And there are there are some people that it's like you just got to throw the whole human away and start
But
over.
I've said that the government is America, unfortunately, is going to have to burn all the way down to smoke and ash before a phoenix can ever rise. And people say, LaLa, that's terrible. No, America is still a baby. And I've said this before, America is only 250 years old. The rest of the world has been through wars. They've been through crusaders. They've been through this. They've been taken over. They've been this and that. Listen, they got the history and they know. This is why a lot of the EU is like, talk to me when you get to the teenage years, because we are not there and haven't been. We've had little blips in our history, but nothing on this foundation of America has ever been on a firm foundation. And here we are at 250 years, and now we are having our major breakup shakedown. This country is going to have to burn to the embers before anything of good will rise again. And only if the people still stand firm and say, we the people means we the people, that's us.
Right.
Dr. Tachi says, indeed. And then what role should civic education play in all this, if any?
I mean, education is everything. Let's go back to what Trump has actually said. Like, he has actually said that he loves poor people and uneducated, because you could basically tell them anything and they will believe it. So the foundation of education keeps people mind on the right thing. But if you don't give them that education, they just take what they hear in the whispers. Do y'all remember that game when we were kids where you would start down the line? Someone would start something at the beginning, and by the end of the line, it was a completely different story. That is the same analogy that is going on in education. They feed you what they want you to know, but then they add things on as they go, or they get things wrong as they pass it along. Without educating our people, we are always going to be at a disadvantage, but this is why they want to ruin the school system in the first place.
Yeah.
Got it. So Dr. Chachi says exactly right, LaLa.
Yeah.
Free Will says, you see the military industrial complex cannot release to the public, quote, all information, unquote. Why? Because Congress and their money monopoly won't have it. To be too busy gathering sheep to collect $200. You know, Pasco and collect $200, Monopoly game. Okay. Before we leave this one, quickly, do you have any hopeful sign that this will be resolved in the next week?
No.
Okay.
No, this is going to go to Christmas. This is going to go past Christmas.
Yes.
And not for nothing. It's because, let's be very clear, it's because Trump wants it to go into the next year. Because
let me tell you how this is going to mess with people. Because all these people who, oh my God, don't mess up Christmas. I can't buy that doll for my baby. Oh no, this is going to come back and bite him in the butt.
Oh, not only is it going to go to Christmas, but the worst part of it, it's going to go right at the time when his tariffs really hit people.
Yes.
So he's going to let it go at a point when his tariffs really start to hit, because he's not smart enough to realize that he doesn't know what a tariff is. And then at that time, he's going to announce his war on Venezuela. So January 1st is not going to be his happy day. Mm-mm.
All right. Okay, let's move.
Because I don't even know why we're going to war in Venezuela, why we're attacking Venezuela in the first place.
Dr. Chachi says this won't be resolved because Tang doesn't want a resolution.
I love it.
All right. We've got one more conversation topic. So actually, let me do this and we'll have it introduced to you all. So here it is.
Our next story is a new digital ID scheme to be rolled out across the UK.
All
What
right.
is that?
I'm not telling you until we go offline. All right.
It's
So New digital scheme to be rolled out. Aisha, you want to talk about this? Talk it to us.
Well, it's not so much that they're doing it across the UK. I sent you that article because the UK is looking into doing it, but I got it because my friend Tiffany was telling me about it. They're starting to use it like in China, and that they've moved to using digital IDs, but that they've also they're trying to start moving it to using it at birth now. So like your digital ID has your fingerprints attached to it, all your banking information, everything, your photo, but they've got like cameras and everything. Like everything is on your digital ID. It's digital currency, everything. So the example my friend was telling me about was that she's reading this article about how you can walk, like you can jaywalk, which is illegal. And before you get to the other side of the street, they've already given you a ticket and taken the money out of your account before you've finished the act of jaywalking. And that they're trying to start this with infants now, but so from birth, that you already have a digital ID, and that they're looking to doing this in the UK to the point that you can't work without having the digital ID. And this is something that which is one of the things that made me kind of nervous about how Doge was doing all the stuff and Elon was trying to get all of our information, because I think this is where they're trying to go with us here in the US, and why I started putting together the thing about us having to have a real ID in order just to fly within the US. And if you haven't been to an airport lately, when you go to the airport, they have to scan your ID, right? But then they also take your digital picture too, and they
It's
say that
already in
they
the system.
yeah,
Mhm.
and they say that they erase it, but yeah,
No, they
you're
don't.
right. And so I think that we're getting to that point, which is also very scary. And it also made me think, why is Donald Trump so into cryptocurrency and really trying to sell this to the US and make it like trying to force us into using crypto? Because I think this is where they're trying to go. Watch this space. Because we might not, because the whole thing about, people having to have a certain kind of ID, because this digital ID thing is where I think that they're trying to go to with the voting ID, with why they're so gung-ho about voter ID. I think this is where we're going to go to when it comes to having ID in this country. And it's also they're also going to have all this stuff connected with regard to immigration.
They already have, because a lot of ICE already
Yeah.
have the face recognition things on the phones. That's already started. Aisha, you only said one word that I would disagree with. You said Musk trying. Musk has already done it.
Oh yeah.
Musk has already done it.
So
And if nobody's really talking about how everybody went to this certain place, I won't say which one. And Trump and Musk were sitting there talking to one another again, and very dedicated and true people who really do read lips said, I've missed you. I want you back in the camp.
Oh my gosh. A LinkedIn user says, don't know if that sounds good or nutritious for my diet. Cinnamon Canal says, digital ID, sadly, it's beginning to be used in Latin America, especially Central America. It has been promoted like the safest way to have your info. China's putting a lot of money in the area.
Yep.
I'm going to just come out and say it, because there are a lot of believers and Christians that watch us and are in the world. And I don't mean the Christian nationalists, but a lot of them, and I actually had someone in my family say this to me today, is I'm not doing that, because that is the mark of the beast, and I'm not doing it. Because in the Bible, it says that they're going to have this thing that you will be marked with, and you cannot buy, you cannot sell, you cannot work unless you have that mark. And so they are already talking about how this is biblical and that they will not be doing it.
The other part I thought about when I too, I was thinking this also has to do with what why they were so gung-ho about trying to wrestle TikTok from China.
Oh, I don't trust it in a bit. If we Netanyahu came out and said exactly what they're going to do.
Because this right here,
he just said it all out there.
Yeah, because this right here too is about competing with because look, if China is able to do that, it's not just about them having our ID and our data. There's also going to be a funding source behind who is able to monetize that data. And the US wants to be able to monetize our data.
Has it
They
gone?
already are.
But here's my question. Who do you trust with your data more? America or China?
Nobody. I don't trust nobody. We've already been compromised. Our stuff has already been leaked. Do you know how many things I see on the dark web that have my name on it? Like, you know, it's a leak every day. It's a leak every single day. And people now have just gotten so lulled against it. You know, oh, it's another leak. No, baby, the more it gets leaked, the worse it gets. And the fact that our government allowed that leak, now that's the ultimate betrayal.
Well, I'm sure that Friends of 47 are all in on this, adopting this in America. And I'm sure they're going to get their monetization out of it.
Of course they are. But let me tell you what, LaLa's leaving. LaLa is leaving TikTok. She's already put a little video up and said, hi, everybody. I love you. Follow me on my other side. But LaLa is not coming back.
Interesting. Yeah, because people are saying, I don't trust that algorithm as it is. And now if it's controlled by those who are supporters of 47, weaponization.
You want to know what's scarier, Dr. Vibe? If you, I, and Aisha, majority of our people who watch us, we all understand how detrimental and how dangerous this is. But do you know how many conversations that I've had this week and I've told people I'm leaving the platform and they're like, oh no, I can't. I just love it so much, because they don't understand the dangers of it. I've literally talked to at least 6 people this week who have said, oh no, it's not going to be bad. But, you know, we told y'all about Project 2025 and we were fear mongers.
Oh, by the way, how's that Project 2025 working out for folks?
All right. I think we'll end the conversation on that note right there. Well, ladies, first of all, I want to say it's so good to hear that you're feeling better than last week. Last show, you both you were, as LL Cool J, Mama said, knock you out. LaLa and Aisha were knocked out last week. So sounds so much better this week. And I want to say, great to hear you are, as Aerosmith would say, back in the saddle again.
Yeah.
Yeah, great Aerosmith song. But before we let you go, as always, want to thank you for your time. And as always, we want to say, how can people get in contact with you? So we're going to go key thing.
Well, listen, I've got everything on my website at laurakey.net, but I have some exciting things going on to help you not get left behind. I have a Lunch and Learn series that will be coming up this month. And our first class is going to be on how to make an AI clone of yourself. Just the photography part first. And then the next one will be on how we're going to animate that. So please make sure that you go to my website, laurakey.net, and sign up for that. And let's move forward, because don't get left behind.
Let's go 100%. Thank you. Next up.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at AK Staggers, Medium, Aisha K Staggers, and Blue Sky at akstaggers.bsky.social. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Oh, not next week, week after next.
Oh, okay. All right. Didn't know that, but I found out quick. All right. I'm making it real quick and easy. You only need to catch me via one link, taplink.cc/The Dr. Vibe Show. And I thank LaLa Key for that. She was the educator for me a long time ago, and they got cemented by Tanya Smith. So when you got LaLa Key and Tanya Smith working together, you better listen. They got more juice than that E.F. Hutton, you know? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. So let's do that. And let's take this off. We got a few last comments here. Yes, Cinnamon Canela 2025 is lying by. Yes, I wanted you maybe said flying. All right, maybe you put it in mind. Enlightened beings say, ladies, you truly rock. I love the show. We love you back. Okay, there's stuff going on here. Cinnamon Canela says, good night and be safe. Yes, well, good to have you back. I hope you're not a stranger. All right, we need you back, Cinnamon Canela. So let's do this last thing before we call it a day. Oh, there's stuff going on. The chat's got their own thing. Yes, flying by. That's what I thought you meant, but you said it is flying by. The first half of the year seemed to just slow, and especially in the Toronto area, the weather was so hot and humid. It just was so slow. But now it's kicking. It's kicking big time. So you can watch replays of this epic conversation, Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website. So that is it. So this is how we end it, as always. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. Try to do both. And make it better. Take care, be well, and keep the faith.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family that's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay? I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no. What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know I'm going to ask you. It falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry.
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and LaLa, because we oftentimes wear ours.